For more than 25 years, NC Family has pursued our vision of a state and nation where God is honored, religious freedom flourishes, families thrive, and life is cherished. We review every bill that's introduced in the State House and the State Senate to identify those that could impact North Carolina families, like the issues of sanctity of human life, religious liberty, parental rights, educational choice, adoption, predatory gambling, and much more. That's literally thousands of bills every session. Throughout the session, we study the issues and produce informative issue briefs to help members of the General Assembly understand the implications of decisions they are making and laws they are considering.
The North Carolina Family Policy Council is an amazing organization. It has a great deal of respect here at the General Assembly, and I really like it because it reaches out to the churches and the communities to make sure that the faith community is fully represented here in the General Assembly.
You know, in our busy lives, sometimes we're not able to gather all the information that we need, and they help us gather the information and give us a viewpoint from a faith perspective.
I believe the Family Policy Council plays an enormous role in reaching out and sharing information with all members of the General Assembly.
John and Jerry, I meet with them on a regular basis. When session's going on, there's rarely a day that I don't see them. There's certainly many opportunities that we have to sit down and talk about the policy that's going on, and talk about, is this really going to make it to the floor? Is this going to get to committee? How do we fight this one? How do we support this one? How do we encourage legislators on one front or another? Those are conversations that go on regularly with John and Jerry. They're down here, they're in the halls of the legislature, they're in my office, they're doing that full time. That is what they do every day.
They're just the best. You can always depend on them. They're both here all the time. Jerry's such a calm, peaceful man. John's the opposite. Not really, John's not the opposite. But I can always depend on John and Jerry to let me know where the North Carolina Family Policy Council stands on an issue, and I can get the facts to back up whatever we're saying, and just depend on them a lot.
Both John and Jerry have been here for a while. In fact, I think they were both here when I got here, and I've been here for a pretty good while. But those relationships are important. People know them, people trust them.
Well, North Carolina Family Policy Council has become one of my trusted friends, and one that I go to help keep abreast of the bills that are out there, their views on it. They are so faithful to give me accurate information on how it affects North Carolina families. And I come to depend on them, trust on them, and together partner with them so that we can pass good legislation.
My experience in particular with Jerry, sometimes we have just put politics aside and spoken about our families. And to me, that's been our highlight. And one occasion that I'll never forget, amongst others, but one in particular, we were talking about our families, and we just went into a prayer together, and we weren't even necessarily talking about the issues.
Those two fellows are folks that anytime I see them, it sort of puts a smile on my face, because we deal with a lot of difficult issues, and some of those issues will weigh on you from time to time, but I've never had an instance where in talking to them I felt anything other than they were trying to help me understand and help us make progress in certain areas for the people of the state.
I really think that the citizens would really appreciate knowing that there's a group here that is here to remind us of family values and Christian values. The citizens have a tremendous ally in Family Policy Council, because they have a direct influence in how we look at things. They show us a side that sometimes we don't see.
We also work diligently to educate the public so you and other concerned citizens across the state have the information you need, first to understand the issues, and secondly to know when it's most important to get involved and how you can most effectively communicate your interests with your representatives. We do this through email updates, action alerts, our flagship publication, Family North Carolina Magazine, and maintaining a robust website that contains timely and relevant information on issues of critical importance to North Carolina families. In election years, NC Family produces a comprehensive nonpartisan voter guide to help voters across the state understand where candidates for state and federal offices stand on a wide range of issues relating to life, liberty, family, and much more.
They have a great research team that really does the research and gets the facts out, and then the ability to sit down and build relationships with people and to be able to affect policy from both sides of the aisle is the most impressive thing to me about the North Carolina Family Policy Council.
So that what I love about the email messages is that they're succinct, they are apt and relevant, and they're not too heavy on weigh out their opinion or histrionics. We're just getting the facts.
You know, I've been following Family Policy Council materials, written materials, voter surveys, that kind of thing, as long as I've been paying attention to North Carolina legislative politics, and I do it all the time. So they're absolutely, for me, a completely trusted resource that I count on, and that I will not act until I know what Family Policy Council is thinking on a particular issue.
Parents for Educational Freedom works for school choice and education reform here in North Carolina. And obviously the North Carolina Family Policy Council comes alongside us on this issue, providing research for us and also advocacy in the legislature and on the grassroots level. So we're a great marriage and a great partner, but they don't do that with just us. They do that with other organizations that also stand for good family policy in North Carolina.
From my vantage point, which is to do with the unborn and abortion, it's an on-ramp for people to become active. So when there are issues of legislative nature, the opportunity that Family Policy Council has given us to contact our representatives and our members, I think that is a crucial role that Family Policy Council plays.
When I think of North Carolina family policy, I think of Psalms 11 verse 3, which says, if the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? And I feel like those guys are on the front line helping to preserve our foundation that was built on biblical principles. And not only are they helping to restore, but they're building foundations for families to have great and better lives for.
The Family Policy Council offers sometimes daily insights as to what's going on in the General Assembly in Raleigh and also at the national level. So that insight is invaluable, because even as chairman, I don't have time to write all that stuff up. So we use the information that we get through email from the Family Policy Council and distribute that as it becomes available.
Well, we use the voter guides that you guys provide every single election. You bring them to us every election, and we pass them out to all of our members so that they can know what these guys stand for.
So does all of this really make a difference, especially considering the state of the political climate in our country today? I can say without hesitation that it absolutely does. But it is dependent upon all of us working together in an effective partnership to truly affect positive change in our culture. NC Family is an important voice for those who support traditional family values. We stand in the gap, often in the face of vocal opposition and radical activism, with sound, reasoned, fact-based positions that honor our nation's founding principles and God's timeless laws. Friends, NC Family is standing on the battle line of the culture war that is raging across our state and nation. And our future and the future of our children and our grandchildren literally hangs in the balance.
I go back a long way with the North Carolina Family Policy Council, and I do not know of an organization here in North Carolina that has a greater impact on family values and policy than that organization.
I think Family Policy Council is the gold standard in that, and has the one that's been here maybe the longest doing that, and certainly the one that is the one I've always relied on.
I believe the Family Policy Council is indeed a key player when it comes to representing the faith community. They do a great job.
I just think Family Policy Council is the best. Hope you're around forever.
They're the warrior on the wall, watching out for our families. I depend on you, and legislators after me will depend upon the North Carolina Family Policy Councils for years to come. You guys are some of the only ones out here doing this, and please don't stop. Families will suffer if you do.